Okay, hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm writing an adult literary fiction novel, but today we are making a video about just like my intro to literary fiction novels. Just like, you want to get into literary fiction, what should you read? I feel like most videos on this topic, like I'll see like what to read if you want to get into literary fiction, and it's Taylor Rooney. What do we like? No, that's some complex stuff. Like, no, if you want to get into literary fiction, this is the video, because like, I don't know, these people, they don't know what they're talking about. Is my cat coming upstairs? Plus it's raining outside, whatever. Because like, I'm just like, if you literally recommend Taylor Rooney, I truly do not trust your opinion on just like what should you read. Like, I don't know if you don't remember when you got into literary fiction what you're reading. I don't know if you were reading adult fiction before you read this, but like, I'm talking about like, I'm sitting down saying you have never either you've never read a book before, or like never read a book past high school, or you have just like been reading YA and you want to get into adult literary fiction, or you're just like, even if maybe you're just like have read other adult fiction, the books towards the bottom are going to be like more your things. But like, how many books are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, and like the books towards the bottom might be more your thing, but like, this is just like a very simple, you want to read literary fiction, these are the books for you. So like, this is just like where we're starting off with. So first off, we're going to start off with Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I think she's the most just like simple, hey, you want to get into literary fiction, let's read her books. So first off, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book follows this person named Evelyn Hugo, and she finds this journalist named Monique I forgot. But anyways, she gets this person, and she's just basically like, hey, interview my life. No, like, write a story about my life, and just like, I'll just tell you the whole story of just like my life, and you can make a book about it. So basically, that it follows that. We follow her 7 husbands that she has had. She's a very interesting figure because she's an actress, and she has 7 husbands, and that's the book. This book is really good because it's just like, it's a very much plot heavy book, and if you just like are first trying to read a book, you know what I mean, you're trying to read, like, people don't understand, like, when you get into reading, this is why you end up reading some romances, some like whatever, like, this is why you end up reading certain things like that, which is never just like a knock on those things, but like, if you're trying to get into literary fiction, this is just like my specific things. Like, when you're trying to get into those things, there are like specific things that you have to just like read, and it's just like, this is just like one of those books, and I recommend it. It's just like a very plot heavy book, and I feel like if you're getting into reading, plot heavy books are good. Also, if you're getting out of YA, plot heavy books are good, so I recommend this. Another book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because again, she's like the queen of just like, hey, you want a book to get into literary fiction, just read her books. These are 3 of like my specific recommendations, because like, not everything from her is just like the best, but like these 3 books are. So we have Carrie Soto is back. She's not what's called hit or miss author for me, but like, she's also just like, I don't know. So Carrie Soto is back is about this tennis player who, again, this is a very simple storyline. This hockey player, hockey. That's for another book. Also, I've been watching Heated Rivalry. I don't know, whatever. That's a really good show. But anyways, Carrie Soto's back is about this tennis player, and basically she is trying to, like, her record is about to be beat, so she's a retired tennis player, and she's like, okay, let me get back on the field. This reminds me of like the creeds, and like, you know, like when you see those stories about just like these like really famous, like not famous, but like these really like great sports players, and how they got to where they are, and just like stuff like that. Like, this isn't how she got to where she is, but this is how she like is attempting to beat this other thing, and it's just very simple, very plotty, because again, when you're reading literary fiction, you need to start off with the things with the most plot in it, so you get used to the fact that these books just like don't have magical elements, they don't have a mystery element, they don't have this, but like, you still need like a little drama, like, because you know what I mean, like, you need some drama, but at the same time, you just like don't need it to be like a completely and utterly just like book about just like, I don't know, stuff. You don't need a completely plotless book. especially when you're getting into literary fiction. Like, I can't believe the whole Sally Rooney thing. Like, that was really getting me. I was sitting down looking at that, and that's exactly what made me decide to make this video, because I said, no, so you're steering people the wrong way. The next book, which is like this is what got me into literary fiction. Like, me personally, this was my book. So Malibu Rising is just like, again, these books are getting like more and more into like the I don't know, more literary fiction as they go, just like more into like what general literary fiction would be. But Malibu Rising is about this family, and it's about they do this party every year, and basically it's the year for the party, and basically we follow this chaotic night as just like things unfold. Then we also like get into the past, and we like see that like Nina was like this caretaker, older sisters, like whatever, like, you know, like the eldest daughter thing. Like, I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid writes those books that literally everyone just like is just like, you know what I mean, like those like very much TikTok persona. Like, I feel like she should be like way more just like popular than she is very, 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 very popular. But at the same time, like, I feel like certain books of hers don't get as much hype, but I'm just like, why won't they? Like, for example, this is just like very much eldest daughter trope thing. This is competitive girl thing. Atmosphere by her. Let me pull that out. Atmosphere by her, which is not a recommendation by me, don't take that. But anyways, is like a very much like you grew up smart thing. Like, there are very much these things that are said online and stuff, and I just feel like certain books should be more popular for that reason, and that's just like what this book is. Again, this is like more of a like literary fiction thing, because this is very much about this family. It's very much like, if you have read literary fiction, I've heard from people who have read literary fiction and then gone on to try Taylor Jenkins Reid, they're not as big of a fan of it, because they're like, oh my gosh, like sophistication is like stuff, but like Taylor Jenkins Reid will never give you something like that. Also, she will give you just like something that will just like very much get you into it, because like family books are very much a part of it. Just like, this is a little bit less on the plot side and a little bit more drama, and just like watching this family and just like stuff like that. But like, also there's just like the party, and there's just like there's fun things, and it also takes place in one day, so like, you know, it's very much fun, but also just like a little more on the literary fiction side. So there's that. Then we have Beartown by Fredrick Backman. Beartown is the only book by Fredrick Backman that I'm going to recommend. I feel like Fredrick Backman does write intro to literary fiction books. Fredrick Backman is very much hit or miss author for me, and like Beartown was the hit for me, and so there's that. But like, maybe some of his like newer books, like My Friend, I'm getting that in, and I'll see just like if I like that book and just like, I don't know, have my thoughts there. But we have Beartown here, and Beartown is about this hockey town named Beartown, obviously. And this book series, there's a whole series to it. I'm reading the whole series. It's on my channel, just like a full spoiler review on it, but just like a non-spoiler review. It's just like a very much just like this hockey town when this violence against a woman ensues, which, okay, the violence is rape, and it's very obvious, because it's like, it's called a guy commits an act of violence against this young girl. Like, it's clear that that's what it is, but whatever. But we just like follow as just like this happens, and we just like follow this town and how they react to this violence. This whole like book series is about violence, and just like the violence between what people, and just like violence of just like everything. Like, there's queer violence, there's just violence, and just like how everything feels like it takes a violent turn on everything, and just like whatever. And that's what this book series is about. Again, there's plot. We see that these hockey teams are just like it's very much about hockey, and it's about who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. Like, that's very much hockey, and it's just like, if you get nothing from this book, you can get the hockey things. But also it's just like a very literary fiction book, because also just like there's also just what is it, sections are like broken up, and these sections are broken up by what is it, characters. We get like just like each character in the town. It's like, it's very much just like a character study on this town, and just like how they react to violence, how they commit violence, how they just like just this whole book series, how just like they become violent, how they just like it's just, it surrounds violence in such a good way. I love this series. It's like very intro to literary fiction again, and I recommend it. So this one is for my fantasy lovers. You're trying to get into the literary fiction sphere, and this is what I'm going to recommend. Either you're coming from adult fantasy or YA fantasy. I'd preferably say for YA fantasy. I don't know for adult fantasy, because again, there might actually, I don't even remember the writing of this book and if it was great. I remember loving this book. I love this book and I can't wait to read it. But I remember it was great. But like yeah, so basically this book follows this this group of kids when this magical woman, mystical woman, this psychic person, whatever, she tells these people, just like these like these four kids, how they're gonna die. Very good intro, just like very good, just like plot. So she tells them how they're gonna die, each of them. Like, they come to this lady, they give her like money, or they give her something in exchange for her. It's like telling them when they're gonna die, and so like she tells each of them, they each keep it a secret, because like some of them are supposed to die young, some of them are supposed to die old. They're just like they're all dying at a certain time, and it's just like very much just that. This book explores just like what makes us like die. Is it like the prophecy that they're giving that's going to just like make them die young, or is it just like, is she correct, or is she just like, it's never really about if she's correct or if she's, actually no, I guess it is about that, but like but it's also just like more about if they didn't get this prophecy, would they die when they died? And it's just like we follow just like their lives, and we just follow each sibling. First we start off with the first sibling, then we follow the second sibling, then we follow the third sibling, and then we follow the fourth sibling, and that's how it works. Very good book. Again, for you fantasy lovers who just like want a book about just like that gives very much like a fantasy book, because just like, yeah, because it's just like very much in the fantasy genre, but cannot compare this to people. There were just like, I don't know, psychics and just like people who could like predict the future, and it's like, I don't know, I just always imagined this as a book that fantasy lovers would love. So that's why I recommend it if you're trying to get into literary fiction and you also read, and you read literary fiction, no, and you read fantasy. We're on to the last two books. This is a short video, but you know, whatever. The next book is Dances by Nicole Cuffy. I recommend this book because, again, I feel like books that are very much about a thing, like, there isn't anything crazy in here. Like, there's no, like, very much, like, because there are, like, literary fiction books. Like, another book by this author that, where I don't recommend it, and it's just, like, it is another 5-star read by me, but, like, I don't recommend this if you're getting into literary fiction, is because, like, this book is very much like, there's transcripts in it, there's just like, it's experimental, it's just like, there's a lot in this book that I'm just like, I wouldn't do all that if you're getting into the genre. But like, again, I'm trying to say that I'm recommending books that are very much just like, you're trying to get into literary fiction and like where to start. So yeah, Dances follows this girl named Cece, and she does dance, and no, she's a ballerina. Yes, she does dance, but like specifically ballet. And basically, we follow her as she is appointed to this, like, I think it's like the principal. Yes, I've read it, but whatever. It's the principal of a ballet company, and she's the first black principal. We also follow her past. We follow her brother. Well, we don't follow her brother, but we follow just like the storyline of her brother who got hurt. Oh my gosh, did I scratch up my book? No, I was just trying to get these things off. No. Then it's her brother, and I'm sorry, my voice is gone. I filmed like 30 videos before this. But it was just like a clip of another video, and then just like a full-on video. Those videos weren't long though. But dances, she is a, let me clear up my mouth because last time that was a problem. Anyways, but she is just like, we follow her, we get to know her brother who was in her past, who got her into the being a ballet, like a ballerina. Like, he very much encouraged it. He was just like, he was this cool older brother who was just like very nice, and then just like whatever. And then as time went on, he had addiction and he was dealing with that, and the sister was noticing it, and it's just like this very sad past, and also just like this present of just like, and it's just intertwines, but it doesn't what is it, it doesn't just like connect. We also just like, it very much is one of those books where it's just like, and the reason why it's towards the bottom of the thing is because it's a book that doesn't explain things. Like, it doesn't explain what the different types of dances are, and just like whatever, you just go straight into it and you are just like free and just to discover it. And especially if you read fantasy books, I think that this could also be something you like, even if you don't. Like, I'm specifically talking about the fact that it doesn't explain the dance moves that are used, and you just get it from context clues, and that's just like one of my favorite things within just like genres, when a book does that, because I think that I can just like figure things out. So I was a really big fan of that, and this book did that, and I was really a fan of that. Again, it's a very much just like, this is more on the line of just like literary fiction, but it's also just like not a person wandering around just thinking about things. Like, there is very much things that are tied to the world and just like whatever, because I feel like a lot of literary fiction is just like a person walking around just like thinking and just whatever. And that's why when that person recommended Style of Ruin, I said, and also I just feel like a lot of people are recommending complex things. This is complex, I guess, but like, it's also just like something that's just like very much easily understandable, and just like, this is making it sound like bad, like, oh my gosh, like, but I'm just saying, if you read a lot of literary fiction, there are certain books that are just like more appealing. But like, I'm saying, like, there are certain books where it's just like the character talking about life and death and just like whatever, but like, this isn't one of those books. We also just like have her in this dance world, and it's very much like following this very plotty thing, and just like, there are just like, it's more literary than anything else here that I've shown. Maybe not, yeah, cause probably more literary than anything else here, but it's really good. And yeah, it's good. Oops. The last book on this list is the 100 Years of Lenny and Margot. I wanted to throw this in here. This book is about this 17-year-old girl, as she, as she meets, oh my gosh, I almost ripped my book apart. I'd have been so sad. This is literally my favorite book to ever exist. But I had to recommend it somewhere. But this book is about this 17-year-old girl who meets this 83-year-old lady, and together they realize that they make 100 years, that they're 100 years old. So they tell stories about their lives. There's also this this priest or something, she calls him Father Arthur. I don't know what it's specifically called. I think it's like some Catholic thing or something. But there's also that. So like, we explored just like this journey as she like talks to this older woman, and they just like share their life stories. And it's just like, it's a book about just like, I don't know, these people. And it's just like, again, it's a literary fiction book, because like, again, literary fiction is all about those just like talking about your life and just like what's happened in your life, what have you learned, just like it's just like very much just like real events that could happen, but like also just like talking about just like life and just like stuff like that. And that's just like what literary fiction is to me, and it's like what it just is. And this has that, but also just like has this fun 17-year-old characters. I tend to find young characters within the adult literary fiction sphere to be the most annoying things to ever exist. I feel like no one can write teenager characters like this author did. Like, she wrote like a beautiful, just like this 17-year-old girl who just like felt 17, and it's just like, I thought it was amazing. She was like childish, but she was also just like this childish on purpose. Like, I feel like sometimes people make children seem like overly childish because like that's how they view them, but also I feel like she sat down and said, okay, you are like this, but there's also some maturity to you. Like, there are things that you think, and there are just like, there's some complexity to her. And I love that about this character and just like this book. And then we just like follow the stories, and the stories are very interesting. There's just like this great love, this what else? Like great loves. There are just like, I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry, guys. Which also same with this one, where there's this also just like great love. Like, I feel like these are like my, you're into romance, get into something else. Well, don't get into something else. That sounded bad. If you're into romance, let's get into literary fiction. Let's actually do like a whole thing. I'll figure it out, but I'll order things into like where you should read it if you are what. But yeah, this was just like very much just like stories on top of stories on top of stories. Like, it felt like a bedtime story, and it's like, it felt like a bunch of bedtime stories, and it's really good. It's really good. So like, let's order these things into just like what you should read it if you're what. Soup. These are very much just sports fiction if you're into sports. Honestly, sports fiction is actually better than, you know, just like, I don't know, these like mine very much like, just read it just for the fun of it, because I don't know, something about reading about sports is so fun. So that's what my recommendations for these books are. Just like specifically like what type of reader you are, because of course I recommended everything, but like, let's just like break it down. These books are if you're into romances. There's just like very heavy romance things in here. You're not ready to give up the romance, but you're also just like looking for just like a real story. Maybe you just like want to branch out. This is for you. If you're into fantasy, these are the books for you. Very much like magical, some magical stuff happens in this one. In this one, there's no magic, but at the same time, there is very much just like this world building that you would understand if you're a fantasy reader. And then the last book is Malibu. Okay, Malibu Rising, which is my true. Just like, you're just trying to get into literary fiction, like it's just a literary fiction book. This is like my specifically, I'm going from the YA genre to the adult genre. Let's just like get something that just like is easier to read, but also just like is very much like something that would get me into literary fiction. Like, I feel like with some of these books, you may read them and you may not like the literary fiction genre. Like, specifically this book, you could read this book, and even Harry Soda's Back, you could read these two books and just like not like literary fiction afterwards, because like they're just like really good books on their own. But like, this is very much just like, hey, I want to get into literary fiction. Like, this is like the literary fiction thing. I guess this is what I based the whole video on, because this is the book. Like, I was reading a bunch of young adult books, and then I got into this, which I'm making it sound like I'm like, oh my gosh, reading. I'm just trying to say like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm confusing myself. But if you're trying to get into literary fiction, here's the book for you. And just like in general, all these books, but I'm just saying like, this is the book that got me into literary fiction. My books are just scattered on the ground. But that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good one. Try out some literary fiction books, because they're fun books to read. I swear, once you get over the hump, you'll love it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.